This is Dan, and this is a test solutions video for chapters 1 through 3, fall of 2014. 56 points in this test. I did curve it 2 points, gave everybody 2 points. High score was then 100%. So, quickly into this, it says use critical thinking to determine whether the sampling method is sound or flawed and kind of what's wrong with that. They only tested 5 people here, so we'd say that's a really, just because you checked 5 planes does not mean you should be able to infer to all flights, so it's an extremely small sample size. On number 2, it had people call in. 1,200 listeners called in. This is what we call a voluntary response bias. Only people who really cared strongly would call in, so you're not really getting a good representation of the population. On 3, we don't know how many people were surveyed. You got 807 people that had side effects, and we had 391. The question is how many did they sample each time? So, and then that's so you get to see which one has a higher proportion, if the proportion of people or percentage of people has changed. Number 4, how many are in this group? 110 to 119. Looks like it's about 35%. We would describe this as unimodal and skewed to the right. Skewed right. Does it look normal? No, because it's not symmetric. And which would be higher? The mean, because it always gets pulled with the skewness. These higher values will pull the mean farther right of the median. On number 5, it says an alternative conclusion. So it says, people have desk jobs. It's saying desk jobs cause people to gain weight. I don't think it's the job that causes weight. It might be the fact that they aren't active, or they eat poorly, or don't enough exercise. Something. You have to come up with something else that might explain why they had gained weight, besides the fact they have a job. Number 6, a lot of people miss this for some reason. You're supposed to just, is it a measure of center or spread? So mean and median are center, and the rest are spread. They describe how wide the data is. And then number 7, the subjects are the students. The subjects are essentially who's being tested upon. With the instrument is the final exam or the test they take in the end. That's how they're measuring it. With the variable of interest, the 2 different teaching methods to see the effectiveness of those. Some confounding variables could be a lot. It could be, the quality of the 2 classes, the quality of the teachers even. It could be, time of day, could be how much sleep people are getting, might be some other variable that might cause differences besides the teaching methods. How are observational and experiments similar? Similar, they have subjects, there's variables, there's instruments. Differences is there's control groups with experiments, and you usually try to manipulate variables with an experiment. Observational study, you don't manipulate variables, you just try to observe what's going on. Number 9, this histogram, the only errors I saw is that people forgot there's supposed to be no gaps. Make sure you label the axes. And is this appear normal? No, it's not symmetric or unimodal either. So, number 10, first things, put the numbers in order. The median is somewhere between 31 and 37, so that's 34. Then there's halfway, the middle of the bottom half will be halfway between 24 and 29, which is 26.5, and then the third quartile is going to be 47.5, which gives us the interquartile range of 21. And then we calculate our upper fence, which is quartile 3, so it's going to be 47.5 plus 1.5 IQRs. And the IQR is, oops, that's supposed to be 21, I'm sorry. That's a typo there. That's 21, but that gives you 79. And then the lower fence, again, 26.5 is Q1 minus that same thing. Again, that's supposed to be 21. And then that's -5. So there's no outliers here. And then here's a box and whisker plot. Make sure you have a scale. And then the data is off the line, so you kind of see the shape of the distribution. 11, you're supposed to find the z-score. It's -1. It's 1 standard deviation below mean. And what's that percentile rank? If you looked it up in your z-table, it's 15.87 percentile. On 12, draw another picture. 109 is 3 standard deviations above normal, which means 99.87 are below and 0.13% are above. And what percentage are between 79 and 109? Well, you just take off 50%. So it's going to be 49.87%, 50% off of what was below before. And then what would be the z-score for the bottom, 25%? Look that up in your z-table. you're going to get negative 0.67 is where the 25th percentile is. On 13 here, which is better, 82 on an average of 70 or an 82 on an average of 75, and here's the standard deviation. So you calculate the two z-scores. The first one is 1.5 standard deviations above normal, the other one's 1.75, so that's a little higher. So an 82 on a test where the average is 75 and the standard deviation of 4 is a better score as far as its rank. And then the last one, most people did this, calculate standard deviation correctly, find the difference, square it, difference, square. 9 is the average for this group of 6, so you find all of those differences and square them. So 25, 36, 16, 1, 16, 36. N minus 1, there's 6 pieces of data, so 6 minus 1 is 5. So it's really the square root of 26, which is about 5.1 is your standard deviation. So lots of good scores, and I hope this video helps you prepare or look back before you take the final.